So after maxing out the AN-94, I decided I wanted to make a video on the best AR in Modern Warfare right now. That's multiplayer and in Warzone. Right now what you're looking at is a custom game, 250 health. That's to simulate playing Warzone with these different weapons. First off, I'm showing the FAL. This is a 4-shot to the upper chest and a 3-shot to the head in Warzone. The M4 is going to take you at least 6 shots to kill in Warzone unless you're hitting headshots, and that's at the best possible range also, keep in mind. One thing about the M4 is it's definitely better at range than the FAL is, and you have a little bit more margin for error because you have a fast fire rate. Speaking of fast fire rates, the M13 has the fastest fire rate in the AR department, except for another gun that we're going to talk about later. But this is a sustained fire rate, so this is a steady fire rate. This is the fastest one, and it also has the best headshot multiplier, aside from the FAL. FAL definitely, I think, has the best headshot multiplier now. One thing really good about the M13 is it's really good at range. It has very little recoil. It's got good mobility, and the headshot multiplier is really the best thing. When you see it in multiplayer, you're going to see what I'm talking about. It doesn't kill quite as fast as the other ARs, but it does better at range, and the faster fire rate makes it more forgiving. I think the AMAX is a very viable gun for Warzone. I don't think it's the best at range, especially as you get out to further ranges because of the bullet velocity drop off. But within its effective range, it can do very good damage. In Warzone, it's going to be a 5-shot to the head or a 6-shot to the upper chest. Keep in mind, this is the best case scenario, though. This is at the best possible range. It also is just better in general for multiplayer, in my opinion. I think with the Kilo 141, it's a very similar gun to the M4. I think some people might find it easier to handle, some people might find it harder. It's got a slightly slower time to kill, so I would say it's not as good as the M4. But some people just have their preferences. Alright, so the Grau's never been a good close range weapon, but long range it's always been a beam. I think it's not as good as it used to be in Warzone, but it's definitely very viable. But if you have the skill to use more powerful weapons like the M4, the Kilo, maybe even the M13 at certain ranges, I think you're going to do better off. Speaking of a more powerful weapon, the RAM technically is the most powerful full auto AR for Warzone in terms of really fast fire rate, good damage. Its only weakness is range and being capped at a 50 round mag. That's the only weakness with the RAM. If you can use it, it's gonna kill faster than the Kilo. It's gonna kill faster than the M4. It's gonna kill faster than the Grau. All that. So it's just a matter of preference, and it can compete with some SMGs as well. None of these ARs you're going to want to compete with SMGs though. With Season 5 we got the new AN-94, and in Warzone I would say it's a very niche weapon. If you miss your first 3 shots, you're pretty much screwed and you're going to be punished with a really low time to kill. So the FAL, or the FAL, in my opinion, easily the most overpowered gun in multiplayer right now. It's a 1-shot headshot up to 18 meters. As well as a 2-shot upper chest shot and a 3-shot pretty much anywhere else at that range, which is just crazy. It just totally wrecks people, and it's really good in Warzone too. Since the beginning of the game, the M4 has always been one of the most popular, and that's just because of its versatility. It's one of the fastest time to kill weapons. It's got great range, got great recoil control. It's just really good all around, and it's better close up than a lot of all the other assault rifles, except for the RAM probably. Maybe the M13 if you're hitting headshots, only if you're hitting headshots. The M13 can be a very fun gun to use, and it can be very good at range as well as up close if you're hitting headshots. It can be very rewarding for hitting those headshots, and it also has very little recoil. So I would definitely give it a try. I would try the barrel that has the built-in suppressor if you're playing on multiplayer, especially if you play ground war. You don't really need much more recoil control or range than that. The one thing that you want to be focusing on That's the big strength of this gun, is its headshot multiplier, which I believe is like 1.6 or 1.7, something like that, which is one of the highest headshot multipliers for assault rifles, aside from maybe the FAL, maybe the FR556, which isn't even really good because it's just not as viable. But the headshot multiplier, just look at these headshots. Something tells me to keep talking right now, but I'm just gonna stop until the next gun comes up. Leave a little awkward silence. Those headshots though. Alright, so the AMAX is definitely a top tier gun, and it definitely performs way better in multiplayer than it does in Warzone. That's just my personal opinion, but it just seems to compete with other assault rifles better within multiplayer than it does in Warzone. It has a 2-shot headshot range as well as a 3-shot upper chest range that you can take advantage of, which really makes it lethal in multiplayer. In multiplayer, the Kilo is another really good one, just like the M4. I feel like the Kilo and the M4 are both equally as good in multiplayer as they are in Warzone, so they're less of a niche gun. They're really just versatile, all-around good assault rifles. You should definitely give them a go. Guns like the M4 and the Kilo I find to be really reliable, so they work really good always. It's not a matter of, do I have to hit this type of shot to this part of the body? Do I have to be in the right scenario? They're always going to be a good safe bet to go to. The Grau I feel like is kind of in a tough place right now because of, in most scenarios, it's going to get beat by a lot of the other assault rifles. But I feel like if you're new to the game, it's really, really easy to use. It's not going to kill as fast as some of the harder to use weapons though. But at a distance it can be really, really good. So depending on how you use it, it could be really good in ground war. The thing is, it's not as good as it used to be. So I just feel like if it's harder to use than it used to be, and it was supposed to be the easy gun, I might as well just work on getting better with a different gun. If I don't have a FAL in my hand, then in pretty much any gunfight up to a certain range, I'd probably want to be using the RAM, because this is going to be your strongest assault rifle up to about maybe say 50 meters or something like that. The AN-94 is way better in multiplayer than in Warzone in my opinion, because those first 3 shots really just count more because of the lower health. It's a 4-shot kill. If the first 3 shots shoot at 1000 RPM, you're gonna have an advantage over a lot of these other weapons, because it does similar damage to the M4, but those first 3 shots shoot faster than any other assault rifle. So being able to take advantage of that, if you can hit those first 3 shots upper torso or head, you're gonna beat these other guns. But then if there's 2 enemies who run onto your screen and you gotta shoot the other one, you're gonna have to let go of the trigger and then press it again to get that 1000 fire rate. Otherwise you're gonna be shooting the second target with 500 RPM, which is just mediocre. All of this said, in Warzone, I would probably have to say that the FAL is the best, just in terms of it being overpowered. And same thing in multiplayer as well. If you're talking about just a regular gun that doesn't seem broken, maybe the M4, probably the M4, maybe the RAM. RAM's a little bit less versatile, but yeah.
You guys suck. You guys are camping bitches. You still got your ass kicked.
Well, deal with it, dumbass.